Yes, good morning, good afternoon. We've got the Spurs review tonight, so this is probably going to be an hour. I always say that. Always ends up being a little bit more, but good afternoon to you guys. If you see my light flickering, I'm having all sorts of problems with it today. Can you see it? I think it's going. Look. Oh. I don't know what's going on. Bear with me. I don't know. Look. Oh, my gosh. Look at this. What is going on? Let's see how long that lasts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. The odds for Thomas Frank to be the next Spurs manager are absolutely tiny now. Tiny odds or big odds, whichever way you want to look at odds. Oh, no, I don't want to. I keep telling me I've got to claim something. I don't want to claim anything. Look at these odds. They are ridiculous. I think it's safe to say Thomas Frank is going to be the next Spurs manager. Thomas Frank, some of the bookies are putting him at 1 to 10. 1 to 10 on to be the next Spurs manager. And I, for one, I'm delighted about it. The light is purely from Amazon. You can go on and get like shop signs, neon signs. You send them the logo, tell them the size, the colors, and boom. Big up to you, my man. Hope you're well. Sanctuary of 7. Absolutely not sad in any way, shape, or form. I'm happy. I'm a happy Spurs fan. I'm happy that this guy, I don't have to watch us lose every week anymore. I'm so happy. Tactical management coming in. Thomas Frank is now, I mean, the lowest you can get him is 1 to 4 at BetVictor and Betfair. But you can get him at 1 to 10 with BetMGM, Live Score Bet, Sport Inside Bet, Unibet. Bet365 have got him at 1 to 9. This is going to be the manager. I am very happy. The more coaches I speak to, the more people I speak to involved in the game, everyone says brilliant things about this man. Go online, read the stories, watch the videos. This man is a top football coach. And I am absolutely delighted that we will be getting him at Tottenham Hotspur. It might not have been my first choice, but I'm very happy. And I'm really pleased that we're going to be getting this in. I've said for anyone that will listen to me for a long time, I've not changed my opinion. We need a coach. And you know what? We have not had a coach for years. We've not had a coach. We've not had anybody that can actually coach and make players better. We've had a manager in Conte who is a win now manager. And then we've had Ange, who is a whatever manager Ange is. For me, we need a coach. And this is a very good appointment for when it comes. So I'm very, very happy. I think a lot of people that haven't done their homework, a lot of people that just say silly things like Frank out, honestly do not understand football from a coaching perspective. And Singularity, they won't be used to having a coach. They won't be used to having a coach. And that's a bloody good thing that they're getting one. As I've said, I love the coaching side of the game. I love it that a coach goes into a club, makes players better. That is what managers are meant to do. Yes, the cup run is absolutely brilliant. Sure, brilliant. But what's next? Yeah, Tom watched this yesterday. Brilliant podcast. He is a top coach. I don't know why so many people are fighting against it. Listen, it is what it is. It looks like he's coming into the club. I expect to see some news as early as tomorrow, maybe a bit too soon, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see. We're also going to look this morning at Ben Davies. Ben Davies, I feel like he's been at Spurs since I was born. It's been a very, very long time, hasn't it? It's been a very, very long time. And let's start with that news before we go on to Thomas Frank. Let's have a look. So if we look at the, let's have a look. Tell you what, let's look at the where to start. Better than the official Spurs website, right? Let's have a look. By the way, look, happy Savva. No more Ange, getting a coach in. I can't complain. Now, I want to move to the transfer window. What are we doing? I'm always about what's next. Manager's gone. Great. What's next? New manager. Brilliant. New manager. What next? Transfer window. Transfer window. So let's have a look. Absolutely, by the way, Chris, absolutely. When they get him on the training ground and they see what he does with them, and it might not click in the first 3, 4, 5 Premier League games. It might take a bit of time. It might take 2 to 3 months to get it drilled into them, but it will. Let's have a look, shall we? Present, share my screen. Here we go. So the news this morning, let me move my ugly face. There we go. That Ben Davies has had a contract extension. And it says here, we are delighted to announce. Let me just check it. You can all see what I can see. Yep. Ben Davies signs contract extension. We are delighted to announce that we have exercised the option to extend Ben Davies's contract, which will now run until the summer of 2026, which obviously is a year from now. Now, our longest serving senior player, Ben, joined us from Swansea in the summer of 2014 and has been a constant, reliable presence in our squad ever since. He's currently up to 358 appearances in all competitions, level with the great Darren Anston, making him one of only 29 players in the history to have played 350 or more games from us. Very specific, isn't it? With 73 games under his belt in Europe, he's just 3 off the record for the highest number of European appearances in our history. Over the course of his 11 years to date, Ben has scored 9 goals and led the team out as captain on 13 occasions. On the international stage, the defender is rapidly approaching 100 senior caps for Wales and has represented his country at Euro 16, Euro 20 and the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So Ben Davies is staying for another year, or is he? Lots of people this morning, when I woke up this morning, I had a lovely sleep last night. I'll be honest, I went to sleep at about 2 and then woke up at about 10. It was lovely. Don't normally get that much sleep. Absolutely lovely. I woke up to lots of messages saying, well, hang on, maybe, just maybe they've extended the contract so that we can get a fee for him. Very similar to the conversations that have been going on with Son. And is that the reason why we triggered Son's contract extension? I don't know. You don't know. It's just, they're all theories. It's just what we're talking about today. It's very bright today. There we go. Shut that a little bit. Thank you. Right. What do you think? Davies. Now, I get it. A lot of people will be saying that Ben Davies, this shows Spurs ambitions or lack of. Typical Spurs. It is what it is. Same difference, different, same Spurs, different date. I get it. I don't necessarily disagree with all of that. But here's the question. If Ben Davies stays, what does it mean for the younger defenders? What does it mean for Phillips, Vuskovic, Dorrington? What does it mean for them? Does it mean they're not ready? Does it mean they're not good enough? Does it mean that Ben Davies won't affect any of them and he'll be a backup to a Udogie at left back? All of these different scenarios, can be played out. Could it be that we're trying to get 5-10 million for him instead of losing him on a free? Is it just that we want him for another year because of his leadership, because of his experience? Now, I'm one that I've never had a problem per se with Ben Davies. He is what he is. He's an okay footballer. I hear the term steady Eddie, if you want to use that. A safe pair of hands, if you want to use that analogy. For me, I do feel that this feels like it's all the time now with these players, that we're just constantly extending. It's like we're scared. It's like we're scared to go again. It's like we're scared to find the next Ben Davies, i.e. someone better. Could it be that they've been in talks with Thomas Frank and said, hey, we want to extend Ben Davies' contract? Was this on the cards all along? I genuinely don't know. Now, this is a good theory as well from Sammy Mehmet. It'd probably be the new Ryan Mason. So what you mean by that, Sammy, if I'm not Tell me if I've got you wrong, that that Ben Davies sees out his career at Spurs and then ends up being a coach. Now, that's the sort of signing I'd like to see, Ian. Robinson from Fulham. I think you've got Andy Robertson and Ian and Robinson mixed up. I knew exactly who you meant. That's the sort of signing I'd like to see. Dynamic, good legs, offers assists, can get back and forward, good in the tackle. That's what I'd like to see. But, hey, Ben Davies is staying, whether we like it or not. And we'll have a look at his career in a minute. Jackie Boy Johnson said Davies will be a good teacher's pet for Frank. Now, maybe it'll be that Thomas Frank has said, I need a bit of experience. I don't, by the way, we're assuming it's him. I'm guessing from the bookies' odds that it is absolutely him. But maybe he said that. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe it's a decision that's nothing to do with Ben Davies. Absolutely. Maybe he's going, but we want to get some money for him. So listen, it's not, for me, it's not groundbreaking news. It's not news where I turn around and go, oh my God, this is the end of Tottenham. I very much expect to see him starting less and less and less games. By the way, he is the captain of Wales. Tomorrow night, by the way, 8 p.m, I will be doing a Belgium-Wales watch-along live here on Football Heritage TV after the 6 p.m. show, which will be Savva and Perchi. What are we doing here podcast? Luan said experience doesn't always mean good experience. So I think that there's always going to be split opinions when it comes to a player like Ben Davies. And let's have a look. On the poll, I've put in a poll and said, happy with Davies getting a contract extension as a question, not a statement. The options were yes, no, typical Spurs, done it so we can get a fee. Yes are at 19%. No at 27%. Typical Spurs is leading at 39% and done it so we can get a fee 14%. So if I add that up, the no's are very much, I'm guessing typical Spurs are kind of no's. The no's are very much in the mid 60%, with yes at 20 and doing it for a fee for 14%. So it looks like Spurs fans have kind of had enough. And listen, I don't blame them. I want to see new blood. I want to see new energy, but maybe he's being used as a steady pair of hands in difficult times. Someone's just messaged me saying Ben Davies will be used like Frank said he used Ben Mee in the High Performance podcast when he spoke about a few players. I totally get the reasoning. I'm not going to say who said that unless that person says I can say their name, but interesting food for thought. And again, if you haven't seen the High Performance podcast with Thomas Frank, go and watch it and it will change a lot of people's views on this manager. I feel at the moment he is the victim of all the people that loved Ange, can't separate their love from Ange for not wanting Thomas Frank. Over here, be annoyed if you want about Ange, but over here is completely separate with Thomas Frank. Good coach. I only came here to see Savva debate Ben. Have I missed it? I mean, I don't debate Ben every day. I mean, you can clearly see there's no one else on the show. It's just me this morning. And we got the Spurs review tonight. We got some characters coming on tonight. It's going to be interesting. In the other world of football, Chelsea bidding up their bids for Bino Gittins, up their bid for Mike Maignan. It's all happening, isn't it, out there in the world? Man, you have upped their bid for Mbeumo, whilst there's reports that Tottenham are trying to sneak in and possibly steal the Mbeumo deal. I'm not sure how much credence I give to that, if I'm brutally honest. I would love it. I'm just not sure how much credence I give to that. Luan, absolutely, my man. What I want is I want a manager that doesn't embarrass us every single week in the media, rowing with reporters, rowing with the fan base, cupping the ears. I just want a normal manager, gives a good press conference. And I want a manager that when I see them live, I think I want to watch that. I didn't want to watch Ange talk. It just felt rude and arrogant. Hey, that's just me. Crypto, Forest Fan TV. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. The question is, will Spurs ever win a trophy again now their best manager in the last 20 years has been sacked? Best or most successful? Huge difference. Huge huge difference, Crypto FFT. I've got to put you in your place on that one. Not best, most successful. He would be nowhere near my best. He's got a 41% win rate. He's like near the bottom of the managers in the last 20 years. So whichever way you want to look at it. As a Forest fan, I can only say that Amran and Ange were the best managers in the league. This is the point, right? This is the point. Other fan bases wanted Ange to stay at our club. That tells you everything. Nick, absolutely. So when they say that Ange has always won against Frank, making Frank a worse manager, Ange has beaten Pep a worse mate, these theories don't add up. Again, the critical thinking in these in these people is non-existent. It's like saying, yeah, Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola lost games this season to people like Glasner. Is Glasner a better manager than Pep? No. Like, it's utterly crazy when people do this. Pure Coys, my man, Nige. Please get over there and subscribe to Nige. Top guy. So can you imagine Frank ever losing his shit with press and fans? He seems such a cool character. Cause pressure of a big job may change things. Don't see it, though. Mate, I think it's, when we say a big job, I don't think we're too big. If we're going to be honest, he's picking up a club in 17th. In 17th. Anthony, so 20 years, Savva, he's bottom of the list for me in the entire history. Look, I was just saying for what the guy said about 20 years, the last 20 years, they put up their win rates yesterday, and 41% was just absolutely shocking, isn't it? And his win rate over the last 20 months, whatever it is 1.18. Just yuck. Just anyway, he's gone. He's gone. Chills, absolutely. I don't understand these people. It's like people say to me, if Frank fails, yeah, then you'll want him out as well. Yes. Change the word Frank for Pep. If Pep Guardiola came in and failed, you'd want him out. Yes. Yes, that's how it works. I love this thing that if you like a manager, it means you've got to back them for kingdom come. No, for me, let the manager come in, give him time, let him implement his philosophy, let him coach the players, and then we take it from there. You know, I genuinely think that if people do take a step back, just take a step back. This is a good coach. He is very well respected. I'm not going to say who said this, but this is someone messaged me earlier. Someone said, I've been around Frank and football for 4 to 5 years, and I've never heard anything negative from a single player, agent, or coach. He is highly rated at the top of the game as a top coach who everyone in football believes should be at. Everyone apart from the Ange fans that don't think he's good because he's at Brentford. I mean, we had Ben last night going, he's not won anything. He's at Brentford. What do you expect the man to be winning at Brentford? Come on. What do we expect the man to be winning at Brentford? It's utterly madness. And absolutely, he won't be 17th. Cookmeister. How you doing, Cookie? Cookie, if you want to come on, mate, feel free. We can have a chat. We'll only ever want Poch back if Levy is gone. Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Pochettino gave a post-match press conference yesterday, didn't he? After losing to Turkey. I want to say that USA lost to Turkey. Yeah, I think that was to Turkey. And he said, look, you know, my name is linked with Spurs every time there's an opportunity. He said, but I can assure you I'm happy where I am, you know, blah, 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 blah. And listen, for me, it's Frank. And I'm just looking at these odds. They are absolutely crazy. I mean, 1 to 10. I mean, literally, I'm surprised they're just taking any money at this stage. And then the next person is Marco Silva, who you can get as low as 3s with Betfair, but more at 4s and 5s. And then the next person that floated out is Glasner at 20. So clearly the bookies think that Glasner is going to, that Frank is going to be the next Tottenham Hotspur manager. Pure core, absolute mate. Do you know what? I was looking at the I was looking, let's have a look, shall we? Shall we have a look at Brentford's salary? Right, let's have a look at this. This is the second lowest Brentford player wages. Let's go to Capology. Let's have a look. Come on. Here we go. No, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I like Capology. Yeah. Okay. So Brentford, I mean, this is mad, right? Let's do some comparisons, okay? So guys and girls, this is, let me remove that. Like this, for all those that just go, oh, he's not won anything. Have a look at this, right? Brentford's total salary is £44 million. And the average weekly salary is 23,000, right? 23,000. That is absolutely crazy. Now, just to put that in comparison, let's try it against us. Right? So 115 million for Spurs. So what was Brentford's? 44 million. Right? So look at it. It's nearly triple. It's nearly triple. The average weekly salary, theirs was 23,000. Ours is 51,000. Look at our top players, 190, 170, 165, 165, 110, 90, 90. Now let's go back to Brentford. Their highest paid player is Aaron Hickey, who doesn't even get a game, at £70,000. Look at their first team players. Lewis Potter, 50. Jensen, 50. And Buemo, 45. Norgard, 40. Ayer, 40. Damsgaard, 35. And this is why I always say to everybody, context is absolutely king. Context is absolutely king. So for all the people that just say, he doesn't win anything. Like, honestly, Ben last night showed for me that he's not a Spurs fan. He's an Ange Postecoglou fan. I'll call him out. He's an Ange Postecoglou fan because what he actually, I'm not backing Frank. I'm a Frank out from day one. Why? Well, he's proven he can't win anything. Look at this squad salaries. Look what he does. Let's have a look at some of their first team players down here, shall we? Look at this. Nathan Collins starts for them week in, week out. 30 grand a week. Yanel, 30 grand a week. Coyote, 30 grand a week. Visser, 25 grand a week. Sepp Vandenberg, 20. Yarmuluk, 15. Rodoslev, 10K. Sharda, 10K. This is absolutely crazy how much they don't pay wages. They are the second lowest. This is the second lowest salary in the country. And everyone going, oh, I don't want Frank, doesn't do a good job. What? The man does a phenomenal job. And again, I think you've all seen this, but I'll show you this again. Look. Oh. If my StreamYard decides to work. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. There we go. Sorry, my StreamYard decided not to work. Look at that. Look at that. And then Ben had a go at him yesterday. Oh, he didn't even win the championship. Oh my gosh, they weren't meant to be winning the championship. Look at that. 2 top 10 finishes. 2 top 10 finishes. Right? £254 million spent in 7 years. 183 million received. A net spend every year of 10.1 million. And a spend every year of 35 million. Obviously, that will grow slightly as they've been in the Premier League. But how as a club are we not looking at this and going, this is smart. This is sensible. Robert, absolutely. Absolutely. We always say we need someone that can coach Bergvall, coach Gray, coach Odeberg, coach Johnson, coach Adogi, coach Tell if he comes in, whoever. We always say this, right? We always say this. And then when it happens, we get upset. And then we get silly things like this. Savva, at Brentford, he doesn't have to deal with egos. What egos are at Tottenham Hotspur? What egos? We haven't got egos. We don't have any leaders. We don't have anyone with... We need egos. We need some egos. I don't understand this. He's just finished 7 places above our manager that clearly can't deal with egos then. Faizan, absolutely. He doesn't have the fancy name. He doesn't have the fancy name, and he's not coming from a big club. I just saw a post that was very, very interesting as well. Absolutely, Luan. Every year, Tony, Ericsson, Raya, Watkins. Look, we could go on and on and on. He lost Ben Rama. He loses players every year. This year, look who Brentford are going to lose this year. Oh, that bloody fly's coming because the window's open. Look who he's going to lose this year, or Brentford are going to lose this year. And Buemo, Flecken's gone, right? This is what happens. They lose players every year. I'm sorry, this is a top football coach. This is a very, very good football coach. Hang on 1 second. This is a very good football coach. I use this word. People are going to get bored of hearing me say it. Coach. You've got to have a coach, right? Look at this. Highest finish of third in the championship is enough. Anybody, tell us you don't understand football without telling us you don't understand football. But Brentford weren't meant to be going up. When he took over Brentford, they were one of the favourites to get relegated. Absolutely. Thomas Frank said it, didn't he, in his podcast? We don't have dickheads here. We don't have dickheads here. Yeah, I know. Oh, that fly's going to do my head in. That fly's going to do my head in. 1 second. 1 second. And gone. And gone. Sorry, had to get rid of that. The worst thing, it's a beautiful day. Having the windows open, you know what it's like. No, we don't need this. Look at Stanley. Stanley bringing me his dog bowl. Thanks, Stanley. You've already eaten, you greedy little git. Absolutely. But Savva, he didn't work for the Australian team years ago. How can he? I love this. Again, when Ben's sitting there and going, yes, but the Australian team, I don't care. Coach at Spurs. But no, coach at Spurs. Savva, you talk about low standards. The best you come up with is supporting Frank. No. Aussie Adam again, let's try and use some critical thinking. It's not the best I can come up with. This is the guy that Tottenham are bringing in. When you say, come on, we should be aiming a lot higher than that. Like who, Aussie Adam? Give me some names we should be aiming higher for. Then tell me why they're going to come to Tottenham Hotspur. People don't use critical thinking. I do worry how some people go through day-to-day life and just say silly things. Again, it's not the best I can come up with. I didn't sack Ange. I'm not appointing Thomas Frank. I am reporting on what's happening. It's really, really silly. It's really, really silly. Bang on. The whole team need coaching and get out of playing boring football. For a so-called attacking manager, in our last 6 games in the league, we scored 4 goals and conceded 16. Mate, he wasn't an attacking manager. He was a gung-ho football manager. Madness. You have to laugh at our fans, says Ryan. They flagged Ange all season for the league form, and now he's the best manager ever. Laugh out loud. It's absolutely, mate, it's crazy. It is crazy. But listen, for me, that era's gone. Ange has gone. Ange has gone, right? We move forward. Coach them to be top players and only to lose them for pounds. Well, listen, of course, that's what happens at smaller clubs, right? That's what happens at our clubs. We did it. Harry Redknapp coached Gareth Bale, didn't he? Luka Modric, right? They both went. We brought in Carrick. He coached, he played, gone. That's what happens with bigger players at bigger clubs. We did it with Harry Kane. That's what happens. I would have preferred Glasner, but hiring a solid coach like Frank is a good upgrade. I agree. Listen, I love Glasner. And listen, we'd be sitting here and having a very similar conversation if we were talking about Glasner. But it doesn't look like Glasner is gettable. I would assume we probably tried. Ghosted has said, Savva, you can't polish a turd. We won't get no higher than 8. Top 8 with this team. We'll also not get out. Well, look, but yeah, that's where we need coaching. We need to buy some better players, of course. I don't think that this squad immediately I go, oh, Thomas Frank's here, top 4. I don't think that at all. The Champions League knockouts is obviously going to be down to which 8 teams do you get in the league stage. Let's see. We might get 8 teams where we go, oh, we've had a touch here. Or you might have Bayern Munich this week, PSG next week, yeah, Barcelona the week after. So let's wait and see. I'm not so sure about that, my man. I'm not so sure about that. But hey, they beat Swansea, the favourites, to go up in the playoff final. Swansea had 7 years. And mate, listen, honestly, Mark, the problem is people. I know you go and do your research. That's what I love about you, Mark. You go and do your research. A lot of people say things, right, but just say silly things. Savva, why did Brentford finish 15th the previous year? What do you mean? They're Brentford. Jay Ashraf, they're Brentford. Where are they meant to be finishing? When this man finishes top half with Brentford, he has outperformed what he's meant to do. Let me show you, right? So I'll come back to that, Christopher. So I'm not forgetting that. I'll come back to it. This is what I predicted for Brentford at the beginning of the season. I predicted Brentford to be 17th because they lost Ivan Toney. But what a bloody good job he's done. He loses Toney, right? Then Thiago, the Toney replacement, gets injured in pre-season and misses the entire season. And look what he done with Mbeumo and Vissa. I just think people aren't. I don't think they're using this. I really don't think people are using this. That's what I love it. Like when I have conversations with people who are qualified football coaches, you actually get a proper conversation rather than he's rubbish. It's like it's just so silly. People yesterday calling him trash. Like, why are we calling him trash? Based on what? It's utterly mad. Yeah, listen, maybe. Do you know what? For all those saying I wanted Glasner, but maybe Glasner's not available. You know, maybe Glasner's difficult to get out of Crystal Palace at this moment in time, right? But what's the difference between Glasner and Frank? Is it the trophies? Is it the 2 trophies that Glasner's won? Is that why? I don't know, mate. We talked about this. Maybe it's to get some money out of him. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Jackie boy, I'll give you the answer to that when I see what players come in and what players go out. I think we've got to. I can't sit here before we've made any transfer activity and say 5th, 8th. I can't. Let's see what we give him. For me, first and foremost, before I worry about what position, just get us to be a good team. Get us to be a well-organized, well-drilled team that aren't embarrassed every week. Coaching is one side of it. You also need inspiration. You need to inspire players to win and deliver big moments. I fear he lacks the personality. I'd tell you, then you haven't watched any of his podcasts to say that he lacks the personality. Go and watch the podcasts. Go and watch his coaching sessions. This man is he is charismatic. He's charismatic. Charismatic. Well, then doesn't Ange didn't prove he did it at a higher level, did he? Finished 17th. So I agree. But listen, I'm excited for it. I'm excited. Fed up Rachel said, I want to see my team play real football. Thomas the Frank engine. Look, I want to see my team look organized. I want to see my team look organised. I've never seen such a dysfunctional 11 than when I watched Tottenham Hotspur. Here's an example, Glasner. Yeah, sure. Glasner, who was my favourite, by the way, Aussie. So when you're saying think bigger, my favourite, maybe Glasner's not available. It's all well and good us going, get him. If they're not available, they're not available. By the way, Dobby's dad, absolutely. 8th is better than 17th. But those fans that champion finishing 17th will go, oh, he's only finished 8th. Crazy. You watch the double standards next season. All the ones that made an excuse every week when we lost will be the ones having a go at Frank every time we lose a game. And I hate to break it to you people. We are going to lose games. We're going to lose games of football. Every team loses games of football. Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, they all lose games of football, right? Look, Mark, why? The I focused on Europe excuse. What? To play Bodo Glimt, Frankfurt, and Alkmaar? I'm off it. I focused on Europe. Oh my God. How embarrassing is that statement? Big up to my man, James Flower. Mate, listen, I think it's a brilliant upgrade. I think it's an absolute brilliant upgrade. Hope you're well, my man. Hope your family are well. Much love to you, my friend. I need a plumber. I wish you lived near me, man. I need a plumber. I need some work done. Oh, hang on, James Flower. Oh, sorry, James. Sorry. So I've just seen your WhatsApp. 1 second, buddy. 1 second. Let's get my Albanian brother on. Inside joke, by the way. Inside joke. There you go. Sorry, James, if you're watching in the chat, there you go. The link is with you. The squad with injuries that still wanted. Do you know what makes me laugh, Chills? All these people are so adamant. Injuries, injuries, injuries. So the injuries were so bad that we were able to win the Europa League, but not win Premier League games. It just doesn't compute. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm bored of Ange Postecoglou talk. I'm done. That 2 years is over for me. That 2 years is gone. Thank you. Goodbye. Welcome to the new manager, whoever that will be. I'll bring in James just before I do. I'll be polite and put myself behind the writing, and I'll just do a couple of quick super chats, James, whose wallpaper has thrown up on his T-shirt, it looks like. You've big up to NSG. Big up to you. I said this fan base will do a U-turn once we get a new transfer and the dopamine hits. It's all doom and gloom now because only news we have is the manager and Davies. Mate, listen, it's not doom and gloom for me. I'm going to talk to James about this in a minute. I am reignited. I'm happy. People keep telling me I'm negative. I'm excited again to be a Spurs fan. Big up to you, Ennis. Really appreciate that. Christopher B. Sounds like a garage DJ. Has said Frank could be lifting a Super Cup in a few months. Of course, I hope our fans don't just judge Frank off of playing Paris Saint-Germain, though, who are a frightening football team. I really hope that we're not going to get that game and everyone goes, oh, he's shit. There you go. Big up to you, Christopher. And is that Uncle Albert in your... That is Uncle Albert, isn't it, in your little picture? The greatest comedy ever made, Only Fools and Horses. Crypto, Forest Fan TV, big up Crypto. I said, as opposition fans, we banter about losing the best manager recently, but in reality, 17th for Spurs is unacceptable. Of course, he had to go. League over cup. Crypto, for me, I just feel like a club like Spurs should be able to have a respectable league position and win that Europa League. I feel like as fans, we always do either or. Do you know what? Like, I'll give you an example. Myself and my wife, right, we were in Tesco the other day. Tesco. And she went like this. We was down the aisle where they're doing the meal deals, like really, you know, like the really nice meal deals they do. And it was like, get this starter and this, or get this main meal and the dessert. She was like, which one do you want? I went, I want that starter, that main, and that dessert. Yeah, but we'll just do two. Why is it either or? Why, as a grown adult, am I not allowed a starter, my main and my dessert? Oh, you're greedy. My wife is the problem. She is like football fan. Either or. I say that because she's in Croatia right now. So anyway, James, welcome, sir. How are you on this sunny morning?
Yeah, very well, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. Yeah, I did a very lively call-in show last night. Got my mate Ben on.
I watched some of it. I could see all of it. No, I was gone before the end, so I will go back and have a little look.
It was exactly. If I said to you, me and Ben were speaking, you know exactly how the conversation went, right? Starts off nice. In the end, it's like, James.
Yeah. Yes,
you're
mate.
a very level-headed person. You like to try and bring me down to reality at times. Thomas Frank is the overwhelming fact. Like, he is 1 to 10 on to be our manager, which means he's going to be our manager. How are you feeling about this? And why are so many people dragging him down already?
I personally, first of all, I mean, I know this doesn't win you anything, but it's nice to have a nice guy back in the club. I
Agreed.
didn't like Ange Postecoglou's attitude. I thought he was very rude towards journalists. I thought he was very rude towards certain questions and the media and even the fans, cupping his ear towards the fans. Like, I just thought that he wasn't a very nice atmosphere, to be honest. I didn't really like him. I'll always be grateful for the moment he gave me, to be honest. I was on holiday with my boys and we watched. It was amazing. Like, no words could describe that. But first and foremost, I just didn't think he was a nice guy, and I wasn't blown away with what with Frank. If I'm honest, I think he's a good coach. I think he's a very good coach. But then I went back and actually watched some of the interviews and some of the bits and pieces and the way he's breaking things down. And I thought, to be honest, the only guy I can liken it to is kind of like a Pochettino, where he would break things down and everything was like a reactive or a proactive sort of movement. And what I've seen, I like. I mean, I know people are saying he hasn't won anything. Well, he won promotion. Like, he did win promotion. So I'll put that just as high as winning the Japanese league or whatever it was. So for me, I don't think you can always judge people by that, because does that mean Jamie Vardy would never have been nothing to where he come from and where he is now? Like, let's I just don't understand that argument personally.
So Dele Alli didn't have 3 or 4 really good years purely because he came from MK Dons.
Yeah, exactly.
Gareth Bale didn't go on to be one of the best players in the world because we signed him from Southampton. You know, where did Luka Modric come from? Where did Pochettino come from? Where did Harry Redknapp come from? Like, mate, I hear this all the time. I hear it's this notion that you can only be a winner right now. What about all the managers that are winners and players that are winners? What about before they were winners? Were they crap? Do you know what I mean? Were they rubbish?
Yeah. And don't forget, I think we signed a few players from Brentford who he wanted. The likes of, I think it was Archie Gray. Didn't he actually put a bid in for Archie Gray?
Apparently, yeah. Apparently,
then so there's players there that you would think, oh, he wanted him, so you'd imagine that he'd be able to work with him, you know. So I don't know. I think he's a coach that could get me on board. I'm not fully. Yeah, we're gonna go for it next season. Top 4. I'm expecting X, Y, Z. But I think it's the first manager we've been linked with, and I want Glasner. But I do think Glasner comes a bit of, I'd say arrogance, but arrogance in a good way. You know, Mourinho was arrogant. I think Conte's a bit arrogant. I think they had arrogance in a good way. I think this is the first manager that doesn't really have that, and I think he could probably build the club back together and get all the fan base on the same page rather than everyone ripping each other apart.
Yeah. Listen, yeah. Why is Mrs. Savva in Croatia? Because she's got a passport and she's allowed to go wherever she wants. Basically, it's her 40th. So her and her friends have gone away to nicer places in South London. Listen, James, I make you spot on. Already, all the talk from the people that were Ange in is, oh, he's got to do this, he's got to do that. Well, hang on. First of all, can we announce him? Right. First of all, can we announce the guy? Secondly, can we see which players he gets and which players he loses before we start talking about what he has to do? Because in Ange's first window, we were all waxing lyrical. He got Vicario. He got Van der Ven. He got Maddison. All right, cool. Well, let's see. Does Thomas Frank get 3 or 4 players like that where we go, right, all right, mate, you've now got to finish top 5, top 6. If he doesn't get anyone, I'm not going to judge him from a team that are 17th and go, sorry, mate, you've got to climb us 13 places up to top 4. I mean, I feel like the childishness of the Ange in, Ange out nonsense that we're all involved in, right, is taking over from the reality of where the club is. Yeah, the Europa League has papered over what is a club that is in desperate need of surgery, James. We desperately need surgery at this club.
Yeah, and I also think he's coming in on the right terms. And by that, I mean, there's no Brennan Johnson's being linked with. It's right, I want to come on, I want to bring in, what's the guy that was linked from Brentford that was going to Man United? My brain's gone blank.
And Buemo.
Yeah, he's like, I want to come and I want to bring in Buemo. Well, straight away I'm thinking, well, you're not only coming in and upgrading on Ange, you're also thinking, and Bremo's an upgrade on Brennan Johnson. So I like the sound of that as well. So I would like Xavi personally or Glasner. They would be my first 1 and 2, Xavi or Glasner.
Me too.
But I'm definitely not gutted with him coming in. I'm definitely happy that he's coming in, and I think there's a lot that could come from that.
Mm. Yeah, no, listen, mate. I think people get confused. The reason I've talked about Frank a lot is because Frank is the one that for the last 2 weeks has been talked about. This is the guy replacing. And I'd be having this. Listen, I'm with you. If I woke up tomorrow morning and it was Xavi as the new manager of Spurs, I'm delighted. If I wake up and Glasner is, I'm delighted. But I've got to practice what I preach, James. I'm not a hypocrite. I've said to you guys and anyone that will listen, give me a coach. I can't suddenly go, oh, what? We've brought in a coach. I want a coach. I want somebody that lives it, breathes it, eats it. And the videos I was watching yesterday, I've seen loads of videos lately on it, but watching some videos yesterday of Glasner on the training ground. I think it was in Portugal last summer with the Brentford team.
Frank, you mean? You said Glasner. Frank, you mean?
Sorry, Frank.
Yeah,
Frank. And he's on the training ground and he's so involved with every drill. He's watching the little 5-a-side, 7-a-side games, getting the player going, come here. What I need you to do next time is you see there, don't go in so early. Just nick. And I'm like, yes. Anytime they showed videos of Ange on the training ground, he's just standing there like this. And his other coaches are doing stuff. I like that. And all the reports I'm hearing is that everyone respects him in the world of football. So I've got zero issue with this. But like anything,
I saw Pep do an interview and they said, I don't know if Brentford beat him or I'm not sure about that side of things, but he said, Thomas Frank, he adapted well. Was you expecting that? And he just goes, he's a top manager. And he went, but he's at Brentford though. He went, not for long. He's a top manager. And you think, well, I'm sorry, but maybe Matt and Reezy know more than Pep. It's.
Do you know the thing is as well, lots of clubs have tried to take this man in the last few years and he's always said no. You watch every time a job comes about, he's linked and he's normally said no. Maybe he's got to the stage now where he's thought, I can't keep performing miracles. Like I can't keep getting to summer transfer windows and losing Mbuemo's, Tony's, Vissa will go, Fleckens, Raya. Like that's the equivalent of Spurs. Like last year, they lost Tony and Raya. Imagine in one window, we lost our best 2 players in one window as well. We lost Harry Kane, and our fans are still talking about it 2 years later, James.
Yeah.
He lost Tony. Yeah. He's flown up the table without a replacement. I think he's a good coach.
I think he would be fantastic for Dominic Solanke. I really do, because I think the kind of striker that Solanke is, he'll have him in and around the box working with Mbuemo rather than get him on the halfway line, tracking back. I've always said I'm not going to judge Dominic Solanke under Ange because I don't think Ange helps anybody. This season, I'll judge Dominic Solanke after a proper coach, if it is Frank, and a proper season. I would like to see 15, 20 goals and actually sort of attacking rather than defending, and then I'll make my decision. And I think someone like Frank, not only is he going to tactically teach people, I mean, I said it before, I think this is an era of an arm around the shoulder rather than a screaming and a shouting. So I think he's a very nice, he comes across as a very nice guy. And I think if someone needs help, he looks like he'd be the first guy to come over and hand like support or help. So I think if you've got 6 or 7 rated players and you've got someone behind them backing him, you may be able to get a 7 or 8 or an 8 or a 9 out of those. So I don't see the bad in it. I mean, people that are saying, oh, he's got to do this because Ange done that, are the same people, barring 3 or 4, that was slagging Ange off until that last game of the season. It don't make sense.
Mate, absolutely. It's funny because if Ange hadn't have won that final, everyone would be sitting there going, we are horrific. And listen, winning the trophy, again, like the big boss man, you're asking lots of questions. How can a European major trophy be papering over cracks? Because, mate, we finished 17th in the league. And over 38 games, that's the decider to tell you how good you are as an overall team. Cup runs are cup runs. Wigan won the FA Cup. They got relegated. Wigan weren't a good team. Wigan had a good cup run. Spurs this year, we're not a good team. We had a good cup run. There's a huge, huge difference. I think you're absolutely right, James. This is an era for coaching. This is an era for how do we set up against the opposition and how can I put my arm around the shoulder and coach. Now, here, I'll say something live. It might shock people. You know this, James. I don't rate Dominic Solanke in any way, shape, or form, right? If Thomas Frank can get the best out of this guy, 18 to 20 league goals next season, and I can turn around and go, cool, fair play, Solanke's better than I thought, I'll happily sit here and go, cool, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong about
Solanke. You know what really
Solanke.
annoys me, and it must be, well, I presume it's in every fan base, but Spurs fans are dreadful for it. They can't wait to be like the opposite, or to dig you out because you've changed your opinion, or it's almost like, no, you said this, so you must stick by it, die by it. To be honest, Gareth Bale in the first 2 seasons was dreadful for us. He was dreadful. He had a good touch here or there. No one would have gone and said, here, listen, in 2 years' time, this guy's going to be the best in the world. He's going to go to Real Madrid, score bicycle kick in the Champions League. But no one would have said that. So by changing your mind, going, this guy, we can't even win with this guy in our team, to this guy's worth Ballon d'Or mentions, does that mean you're a flip-flop? I just don't get it. Like, I judge football with my eyes. And if people change, people change. If players can grow and adapt, then players can grow and adapt. Like,
Absolutely.
I just feel like every Spurs fan, and I can only speak for Spurs fan because I don't know, can't wait to dig each Spurs fan out rather than actually kind of go, oh yeah, let's get behind this guy. It's always no, but you wanted this, or no, but you said no, but this. It's like, shut up, get behind the team. Let's see where we go. If we fail, then that conversation can happen.
Mate, listen, I want to listen. There are players right now I'm looking at and going, right. I look at Archie Gray and I'm like, I don't know why we signed him. Show me, coach him, show me. Yeah. And then I turn around and go, good call. Whoever bought in Archie Gray, good call. But I think we're too worried, aren't we? We're too worried about, gutted, you said he was shit.
You're wrong.
Listen. At the end of the day, we all want Spurs. We all want what's best for Spurs. We've all got a slightly different route on the sat-nav to get there. But we all want Spurs to do better. And for me, and again, I'll answer this. There's a lot of people in the chat going, why are you bothered about league position over a trophy? First of all, stop comparing the two. It's not either or. Yeah? Listen to what I've been saying. Spurs are not a team that will win a trophy every season. Would I like Spurs to win a trophy every season? Of course I would like Spurs to win one. But that's why it's important in the years where you don't win a trophy that you are showing progression in other areas. Getting better in defense, getting better in attack, getting higher up the league table, right? If you haven't got that and you're not winning trophies, then what are you? Do you know what I mean, James? You're nothing.
Absolutely, yeah. And all these people that say that, in my opinion, they're not season ticket holders, or they're not people that pay for tickets week in, week out to get there. If I was to go to a game, say it cost me 150 quid for 2 tickets, just average, I would then need to pay 100 quid in train fare. I'd then need to pay 50 quid in food for me and the lad, potentially stay overnight, which would cost another 50 to 100 quid. So I'm now 500 quid down a game. So it's all right for them to say, why does the league matter over a trophy? Well, if I was doing that week in, week out, 500 quid a game, you're timing that by 20 games a season. Well, how about you spend 10 grand to lose or win 6 games and tell me how you feel about it? I'm sorry. It's absolutely stupid. It's all well and good saying it from your armchairs, and I don't go every week, but I can see it because when I do go, I know how much it bloody costs me. So, and then when you get there, you pay 150 quid for a kid's football kit. You're like, hold on a minute. Why are you picking one over another? If somebody said to me, right, next season is 14th and you're going to win the FA Cup, I'd probably take it. But then after that, it would be, no, that's enough now. Now I need to see building. I can't just keep doing the whole... So this season, I'll let it go. I am really not happy with it, but I'll let it go because we've got a European trophy. If we got another trophy, I'd feel like, hold on, that duck off that back is gone completely. We've got that duck off our back. Now we have to perform in the league. You can't keep finishing there. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable financially. It's not sustainable. Fans turning up week in and week out. They're going to stop. The numbers will start dropping. It's just not how football and business works.
Look, I think the key thing here for me is this. You've hit the nail on the head about the going to games, right? Now, listen, as you know, since I've done this full time and the fact that I don't like Levy, I don't go to games now because people always go to me, go to the game. people don't understand when you're a content creator, you make content and you make money, right? So if I don't watch the games, I don't make money. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Let's look at someone like Lubo James. Lubo doesn't just go to the home games. He doesn't just go to the away games. He goes across Europe, flights, hotels, time off work, right? We're now talking extortionate amounts of money over a year. So when people turn around and go, why do you care about league defeats? Hang on. What about these people that are leaving their house at 3 a.m, getting flights, paying for hotels, paying for food, for drink, for programs, right? Them flying back, getting home at whatever time in the morning. What about them? Are we just saying to them, don't worry about that? 22 defeats, don't worry about that. That's just not on, James. That's just not on.
No, and play people like that. I mean, there are people like Lubo around, and fantastic, because I could never do what he does. That guy was going to Leighton Orient games. He goes to youth team. That guy is, whether I agree with his opinions or disagree, you cut that guy open and he's Tottenham through and through. It wouldn't surprise me if he went to the women's game. Like, he would do whatever he could to go to every game possible. And I love that in whoever has that passion. I absolutely love it. But then to say, who cares about the league? Well, I think that they should pick up Lubo's bill at the end of the season. See how they think.
Can I just answer this? Big Sam, I hate to break it to you. Expressions Oozing has about 500,000 subscribers. That man is making so much money on YouTube, it is unreal. Saeed has got like 150,000 subscribers. Yeah, Big Sam, for me, trying to make this a business, with my content on Spurs, content on other clubs, doing work for people like William Hill, the Sun newspaper, etc. You have to work your balls off to grow it. Every day counts. Every stream counts. I don't think people understand how difficult this is. I'm trying to build this up as a business. And anyone who started a business knows you have to graft. Yeah. So no, Big Sam, not about being consistent, mate. Not about it. Not your business at all. So leave or stop saying stupid shit. Thank you.
Also, I presume he doesn't own his own business, because the first 5 years of a business, you don't get to have time off. After that, when you've built your 500,000 followers, or you've built your, 5 postcodes worth of customers, then you can have time off and do bits and bits, and then go and do the nicer bits. But until then, listen, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's not all hokey pokey. Hello, how I'm doing fantastic. I'm earning loads of money. Don't work like that.
Do you know how much I've streamed in this last month? Like, do you know, I wake up sometimes and my eyes are like, but you have to build, you have to grow, you have to grow. Like, people just go, oh, you turn on and talk about football. Do you know what? Talking about football all day, every day is actually really, really tough, because you've got to know every signing that's been made. You've got to know every report that comes in, right? And what makes me laugh is these people that just go, oh, just do this, just do that. Let me give you a scenario. Imagine Tottenham play on a Sunday. On a Sunday, I do my show in the morning, then I'll have the watch along and I've got the Spurs review. Now imagine I didn't do any of those free streams, and instead I'm spending £100 on a ticket. I'm spending £20 on food, £30 on food, couple of beers, travel. So now I'm actually £200 down and I haven't worked at all. I've got no content going out. Somebody else is doing the watch-alongs and getting my customer base. These people don't quite use this. This is tough. You've got your own business, right?
Yeah, I own my own business.
Yeah. It's like me going, you know what? Oh, you've been offered a job here to do £5,000 worth of work today. Not that I get that on YouTube. Do you want that, or do you want to go and watch Tottenham lose at home to Ipswich? Like, sometimes you've got to make the decision for your family. And
and every time you say no, from my industry, every time I say no to a customer, what that does is that then sends that customer to someone else. So I've lost that customer, because if he steps in and does a good job, they'll do that. And that's probably the same for you. If you dropped out and say, I had a Tottenham channel, they flicked over to me and really like me, they subbed to me, they start watching my watch alongs, your number. It's just how it works. It's life, unfortunately.
People don't get it. And this is the reason why, listen, YouTube, I've not cracked a code. I'm a small-time YouTuber compared to many others. But if you want to grow, you've got to be consistent. Yeah. There are people that do one stream a week. cool. That's great. You're not going to grow, and they probably don't want to do it full time. For me to do this full time, I need to be live every day, different subjects, different topics, games. I've got Savva and Stell Ask Us Anything, Savva and Perchy, the What We're Doing podcast. I've got a show called Context with Sean. Look how different all three of those creators are. Perchy, probably a bit more aligned with me. Me and Stell, 50-50 we agree, 50-50 we don't. Sean, most of the things we don't agree on. I've got the watch-alongs. We've got the Spurs review. Like, it's never enough for people, James. People always want to dig, say more, go to games, do this. So, anyway, back to football.
I don't know if you said it, but it's been confirmed from Spurs that the ladies' coach has been sacked.
Yeah, they've just put it on Sky Sports News as well. James, let's talk about this. Not just that. Daniel Levy, love him or hate him, because let's be fair, you can't have a Daniel Levy conversation without, like, if Lubo was here right now, he'd be going very red. Daniel Levy has come back from holiday, and that axe is wielding, mate. That axe is wielding. So you've got Donna Cullen that's gone. Ryan Mason, I know he wasn't axed. Ryan Mason's gone, right? Ange, gone. Munn, gone, right? The female, the women's coach, gone. The coaches under Ange, gone. Daniel is wielding that axe, isn't he, James?
I think, I know you don't agree, but I think that the protest has put more. I don't think it's going to get him out, but what I do believe it's doing is putting pressure on him. I don't believe that he could have another 17th league finish and he wouldn't be being called for seriously. So I think that this is.
Levy, you mean?
Sorry?
Was that Levy you were saying on pressure?
Yeah.
I do agree.
Oh, okay. I think the protests has put so much pressure on him that it's now, if he fouls with another manager, it gets a bit bigger, and then it gets a bit bigger, and then he's going to turn to a point where the ENIC group are thinking, listen, mate, all of these people hate you and want you out. We need to change something. So I think that he's kind of gone, look, this ain't good enough. You're gone. We need to start from the ground up and go again. And I hope it's true, because I think that regardless of how good you are, I think if I took on somebody to work with me and they worked with me for 10 years, they would become complacent. They'd be like, oh, yeah, well, I'm going into work again. It's the same old as yesterday. Sometimes, even if they're good, you need to let them go and get fresh in that are hungry and they're going to take you that step further. So I think he's coming from a place of backing himself up against the wall, thinking, we need to change. This isn't working. Hopefully he brings in whoever the coach he brings in, and they're going to bring all their backroom staff, their coaching staff, and they're going to build from there. That's what I hope.
Well, one of the things that we're hearing now, bearing in mind, my prediction's nearly coming true. I did have a little smug moment to myself yesterday about my prediction nearly coming true of a clean sweep at Tottenham Hotspur, hence why Ange wasn't sacked earlier. But that's just me being a bit petty because of the amount of hate I get. But we've got to take other things into account, James. You've got Vinay Venkatesham who's come in, right? And he started last Monday, right? And you got this guy, right, who joined the board. Here he is. Let's have a little look at him. Old Peter Charrington, who will have gone under the carpet swept under the carpet of most people. He joined the board in March. He's the former CEO of City Private Bank. And he's now, I don't know if you know, he started his own company. And do you know who his one client is?
Isn't it Joe Lewis? Is it Joe Lewis?
It is Joe Lewis and all of Joe Lewis's estates and equity. Right. Not a bad job to have, right? So Peter Charrington.
I think he's earning a few quid.
Mate. So Peter Charrington is like Joe Lewis's guy, right? He lives, if what I'm reading is correct, he lives in the Bahamas in one of Joe Lewis's
houses,
complexes or whatever. He's been implemented onto the board as of March as a non-exec director. I love those sort of oblivious job titles. He's a non-exec director, and lots of reports are saying that he is going to be the interim chairman of Spurs. Daniel Levy will be stepping down, and that this guy will oversee a sale for the Lewis Trust. Now, a lot of what I've just said there could be 2 and 2, and I've got 4. Cool. It could be 2 and 2, and I've got 7 million. But it could be that this guy is grinding the axe. It could be that this guy and Vinay between them are going, hang on, we need a shake-up. This club's not being run properly. We need a shake-up. Could it? Maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's be honest as well. I mean, I half praised Levy for this, but it's probably more towards Joe Lewis. The amount of money we have spent as of late, we should not be finishing 17th when we're spending, was it 400 million we gave to Ange? I don't know if it was 400 million, but along those lines, if you're Joe Lewis, I mean, you know what it's like. If you said, right, James, I need a new computer to stream with, I go, yeah, send us 10 grand, and then I sent you a laptop, you'd go, hold on a minute, where's the rest of my stuff? What have I spent my money on? It's the same as Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis, if he spent 400 million, because he's like 70% of the owner or whatever it is, so he must have paid out 3.5 million of that sort of money. If he's gone, so what have I got for my money, Daniel? Daniel's gone, I don't know, but don't turn Sky Sports News on because they're protesting outside. He's go, right, okay. It's a matter of time before he sends somebody like that in. Almost spy is the easy way to do it, isn't it? It's like a spy. Have a little look in there, mate, and tell us what's going on. And he's gone back to him and gone, mate, this is a car crash in here. Everyone's chilling out. Daniel Levy's in the canteen every morning, eating what he wants, doing what he wants. It's a matter of time. I hope that they go, no, we're a football club here. We need to start seeing what we're paying for, or you're out, or we're selling up.
Mate, absolutely. Listen, I think, he's gone in there, as we said, the non-exec, the non-exec director. He's going to be spying. He's going to be seeing what's going on. Maybe he's wielding it. Maybe it's given Levy the kick up the arse. Maybe between them. All I know is I'm here for it. I know what people will say. I know what people will say. Oh, we've heard this before. We said, and of course, I can't say after 24 years of evidence that it's going to work. But lots of the reports are saying that Levy is going to step down. And if it is Charrington coming in, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything about the guy. The reports are that he'll be coming in to oversee a sale. If it is a sale, I don't know. Be careful what we wish for on the one hand, but excitement on the other, right? It's going to be exciting a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't see what... I know people go, oh, be careful what you wish for. What am I losing? One European trophy in 24 years. Is that what I'm losing? Well, I'm prepared to roll the dice in that case. If that's what I'm losing, the highest season tickets, the highest kits, crap on the telly every weekend or at the stadium every weekend. Am I prepared to roll the dice? Yeah, I am.
No, absolutely. I mean, Dan, welcome, mate. I'm guessing you've just woken up. A bit early for you.
No. I've already been out, just come back in and just got dressed back into my pajamas.
Love it. Like the only man I know with Hugo Boss pajamas. What a boss in his own right. Welcome, Dan. Dan, we're just talking about I love this. Hang on. Savva probably will start complain about Frank after 10 games. I'm going to change the sentence for you. Savva will probably start complaining about Frank after 10 games is what you meant to say. Hang on. You know what we've got to do?
Chicken troll.
It was a troll. I love this. Listen, I'm not going to say after 10 games with Frank. Frank's a coach. Coaches need time. Coaches need time to drill it into their players. They're not going to rock up on game one of the season and we're going to go, oh my God, we're Barcelona. Like that's not quite how coaches work. Big up, Dan. We're talking about, there's loads of rumors, mate, about Levy going. Charrington's going to come in and oversee a sale of the club. 1 week I'm hearing it's Saudi. The next it's going to be the US. Today I've heard something about Malaysian consortiums coming in, led by what's her name, Staveley of Nuke. Do you believe any of this? Or is this just there's a lot of smoke? Is there fire?
Well, if there's smoke, there's usually fire somewhere, isn't there?
Sure.
In that aspect. Would I be surprised if the place does get sold up in a year? No. Would I be surprised if he doesn't sell it? No. I don't really know on that one, tell the truth. None of them would actually surprise me. maybe he's got to that age where enough's enough, and or family wise, whatever, and they're going to sell up and get on with their own lives. Maybe they're just going to hang on to it and keep getting the amount of money he makes off of it and everything. I think any one of it is believable.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, James? Like right now at Spurs, if someone said, "Oh, we're being sold," you'd go, "Yeah, I believe that." We're not being sold. Yeah, I believe that as well. Like, but there's definitely a shake-up going on at the football club. Men's team, women's, everything. There's a shake-up.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And it's like you're saying, people are saying that they're questioning you, saying, well, in 2 seconds, sorry.
And we'll never know. We'll never know. Oh, he's back. God, we will know.
Kids don't have kids. They're annoying. Yeah, people are questioning you for saying, well, in 10 games' time, you'll be questioning Frank. So what should we say? If we lose the first 10 games, what should we say, mate? Like, oh, no, it's still fantastic. Yeah, can't wait for the next game. This is all great. It's just childish, isn't it? Of course I'm going to question him if we lose the first 10 games. I'm not going to be screaming, right, get him out, get him out, get him out. But at the same time, what happens to the days of, I mean, going after the game, going to the pub, having to talk with your friends, going, "Oh, he's crap, isn't he? Oh, he was terrible." And then at the end of the day, you go to the next game next week, and you go, "Oh, he's all right." Like, what's? It's almost like you've said it now. Stick by it, die by it. Game over.
But do you know the funny thing about it, guys? Is like, with a new manager coming in, what is anyone expecting? Because if they're expecting what happened with Ange, that was absolutely the anomaly. No manager comes into a new club, wins 8 and draws 2, and I say no manager. That's the anomaly, right? Manager, all right, if you're taking over Man City, maybe Chelsea, but what are they hoping for? And my worry is, Dan, is that if we had played the first 5 and he's won 3, lost 2, we're going to go, "Oh, there you go, he's lost 2 games." Is this man even going to get given a chance, Dan?
That is one question that is definitely that I'm wondering, because from what I see on a lot of chat and everything else, yeah, obviously the significant amount of people wanted Ange to go, but then there was always a significant amount that didn't want him to go. And whatever manager comes in now, he's going to get judged to Ange no matter what. If he goes and wins, let's say the first 6 games, draws 2, loses 3 or whatever, someone's going to turn around and say, "Yeah, well, Ange didn't lose the first 10 games." Yeah. That is a problem we're going to have for at least the next 6 months when we get a new manager. I mean, the new manager has to come in, and whether we like it or not, we got to give him time to work out how he wants to play with the players he's got, who he wants to play playing, who he needs to play, and everything. And in that aspect, that's why a lot of people didn't want to start again. No, I didn't want it to start again, but finishing
start what again? Like, start with 17th. Aren't we at rock bottom?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that we're 17th is just not good enough. He had to go, and we need a new manager in to start again, basically, in the aspect of the team he wants, how he's going to play, what positions, who he wants to keep, who he wants to sell, who he wants to buy. And that's not going to happen in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's not, Dan. It's not going to happen. And what I'm hoping, yeah. Listen, Gareth, as I said, listen, listen. If you go to a top club, I get it. What I'm saying is, at Tottenham, a team that are 17th and have only won 11 league games, I don't expect whoever the manager is, even if Pep Guardiola comes in, that we're going to just suddenly start winning week in, week out. I think it's going to take a bit of time. That's the difference between implementing a coach and a win now manager. But what I do find quite interesting, guys, is I really hope that there isn't this divide moving forward, that because people didn't want Ange sacked, that they're just going to be on Frank's case from PSG. I mean, if I'm not wrong, I saw yesterday that aren't his first 3 games something like, and we got like Arsenal, Bayern Munich and PSG, or so, like it was something ridiculous, like in pre-season and stuff. Like,
yeah, in the pre-season and that. It's not exactly the. Do you know what? Tell you what, just go and guess give us Pep Guardiola, and I don't even think anyone would grill him if he went and got done 4-1 by PSG, for God's sake. I mean, realistically, come on. Go and get the
You
best
know,
manager in the world, and that with the team we got, we go and play PSG the way they totally schooled Inter Milan.
you know what I would love to
Blame
see
the
it, and
manager.
I say a victory for me. It's a bit hard, a bit strong there, but a victory for me would be Tottenham start on the front foot as such, or they start by having a go. PSG come on top, and then he swaps within half an hour to a back five. That for me though would be, I like this. Yeah, they are the better team, but he's realised that within 30 minutes he's changed up and thought, park the bus, let's see what we can get out of it. That for me is what I want to see. If I see that, and then later on in the game we go on top and he changes from a back five to a back four and we start attacking, that's all I want to see at the moment. I mean, that's how low my levels have dropped because of what Ange has done. The suicide football continuously. I would love a manager to say, you know what, boys, we're sitting back here now. Let's defend for a little bit and then go, actually, now we attack. And pick your moments, adapt to the game. And everything I've seen from Frank, and obviously I'm using Frank because this is who we've been talking about, he looks like he does that. He does do that in games. He did that against City, dropped to a back five, went to a back four. So I'm intrigued. I'm quite excited. I'd like to see it.
He's flexible. He's adaptable. He's
That's it.
tactically fluid. He will work out what games we need a back three, what games we need a back four, what games we need two up top, what games you need one up top. I like that in a manager. Does his team play free-flowing football? Not all the time, but they play very direct, compact football. And I put a video to a few, but I'll send it to you guys a bit later. There's a video about how Brentford attack this season. It shows where most of their goals come from. And it's so different to how Ange played. Lots of our goals came from out wide right, pulling the ball back. Thomas Frank and Brentford, a lot of their goals have come from central areas, right? Where the ball has been played centrally or worked into central areas. And that's what I like. Have shots. Have a shot. Have a dig. Let's stop trying to score the perfect goal. Listen, I need to do some super chats. Just want to say, guys and girls, big up to each and every one of you. There's nearly 900 of you in here. 273 likes. Come on. Come on, guys, girls. Do we need to keep asking? Smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're only 150 away now from 18.5K. So we've done nearly 500 subscribers in a week. Please smash that subscribe button. I'll pin the link for that as well. Big up to Alfie Danger, great name, who has said every big club in Europe would have sacked Ange considering the season as a whole. I'm stunned at how many fans are devastated. Alfie, the only thing that Spurs have done different to any of the big clubs is the big clubs wouldn't have allowed him to get to 17th in the first place. But as I said, I truly believe, I said this to Dan for the last few months, truly believe that was because we were having a clean sweep in the summer, and that clean sweep looks like it's very much happening. But big up to you, Alfie. I agree. Big up to my man, Gary, out in Dublin, Morton Barley, who said, new season, new start. Forget the past. Future is now. Gary, as I said, my favourite box set of all time is The West Wing. And whenever they're in the president's office, he gives them a minute to discuss a subject and then says, here's my decision. What next? That's how I am as a person. We've done this. What next? Yeah. And just gone. What next? Frank's in. If he comes in, what next? Right? What next? What next? What next? Big up to you, Gary. Big up to Paul Watkins, who's become a new member. Look at that dog. What a lovely face on that dog. Paul, thank you very much. As I said, Tuesday will be the first channel members only show of the year. And then once a week. So any channel members that maybe don't want to come on or talk because of the internet, you can come on. It's safe. It's private. It never gets released to the mainstream. It'll be just for us members, you members. And obviously, it's my channel. Big up to you, Paul. Thank you very much. And Simon Bergen with the super sticker. Not saying anything. I'm going to make up something. Simon, what he meant to type in here was, thanks for all you do, Savva. You are the best looking YouTuber. Thank you very much, Simon. I appreciate that. That is very kind words indeed and high praise. Dan, how quick you expecting this to get done, Thomas Frank? He's floated out or in to 1 to 10 on. How quick are you expecting this to get done?
I mean, the sooner the better. again, the way Tottenham usually do things, it wouldn't surprise you if it took another bloody 3 weeks to do it. But it wouldn't, would it? But I do believe that Levy's been setting something up for a while, and a lot of it was going to come down to will we win the Europa Cup or not? Big gamble he did take, and I do believe he had it. He's already had this pre-planned out on what he wants to do. Other things that are going to happen behind the lines as such that we don't see so much of. It should be within the next week.
James, do you agree? I mean, the fact that he's gone from 1 to 3 on to 1 to 5 to 1 to 10, it almost feels like it's I's and dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this stage, doesn't it?
Well, I want it. I mean, when do I think it would happen? I think it bloody hope it happens next week, to be honest. You can't keep longing things like that out. But for me, I think it should happen next week. And if it does, it gives all the players chance to say, "Oh, I don't want to be under him." I.e., Romero. If apparently he said he wanted to leave because if Ange left, like that was what we read. If that is the case, that gives him more than enough time to find a new club and say, "Right, that's it, boys. I'm done. I wanted to work under Ange. Ange has gone. No, I want to leave." And if he has left, it gives him more than enough time to sell him. So I really hope that he comes in next week and starts saying, "This is what I want. This is what I don't want. He doesn't want to be here. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. And I want X, Y, Z. Let's go."
On that point, James, and before I bring in Philly, for me, I'm the sort of person, people are going, "Oh, you know, I sacked Ange, by the way, James. You know, it was my fault, according to a lot of the YouTube viewers." I get, "Oh, well done, Savva. Now Romero's going to leave." Cool. If Romero's staying at Spurs was based upon a manager that can't sort out a back four, then I worry about Christian Romero. So I don't care. If he wants to go because of that, I've got no problem with that, James. Good player.
Absolutely.
But if I'm Romero, I'm thinking, this manager's exposed me for 2 years. This manager's exposed me. He's made me look crap. So isn't that a bit mad when people are going on about, "Oh, well, Romero's going to go now"?
The only thing I can think of is he's been a blanket for absolutely every single one of them players. Every time it's been crap, it's been because of injuries, because of this, because of that, because of X, Y, Z. So if you're a player, you're there knowing that you've got the easiest time of your life. Why would you want him gone? Now that safety blanket's gone. I mean, one of the videos I saw with Frank said that I don't have any was it crap attitude. I think
he said, "I don't have dickheads. I don't have dickheads."
Right, yeah, I didn't know if I could say that, but yeah.
It's cunt is the word you're not really meant to use, but it's all right.
I like that one though, to be fair. Yeah, but
you can just say, "I'll see you next Tuesday."
Apparently nowadays on YouTube, people could just say whatever they want to say.
Yeah, fair. But
I used to get demonetized for saying shit, and then I'm watching videos where I'm being called a cunt 50 times. All right.
Yeah. I think, but even that, I really like that, because if Romero, if he comes in and Romero's going, "Yeah, well, Ange, I wanted to work for," well, I don't want any dickheads, so off you go, mate. Like, I want that in my manager. So I hope whoever it is, it's done now, ASAP, and then we can go, right, that's settled. Now he wants X, Y, Z. Let's work towards that. Let's get rid of him, get him in, and let's have everything done before the pre-season tour. Because I always feel that we go on pre-season and we're trying to get players in, and we're in Asia somewhere, and you're trying to fly them over for medicals, do this, do that, and then by the time they've actually started the season, they've been with the squad 3 days and they've travelled about 5,000 miles, and you're like, well, that was pointless.
It would be lovely, wouldn't it, to fly out there with. Wasn't it last year? Didn't we fly out there without Solanke? Like I don't think we got Solanke done. And you're thinking, hang on, this is our main target of the summer. I want him on tour playing up front.
We got him on the last week or something, wasn't it? Last week or week and a half.
Yeah, it was very close to the season starting, wasn't it? If I remember, because it was like dragged on about 2 months. Philly, welcome.
Like the Van de Ven one.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, we do take our time, don't we? Philly, how are you, mate? You good?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Nice to see you all again. Big up, Danny.
Nice. Big up, Phil. Why have we invited this fraud, though? Why have we invited this guy on? I mean, Phil.
Because the main fraud's up there, mate. looking like you're blending into your wall mate with that shirt on.
Listen, you got like a mustard shirt on. What are we talking about? What are we doing here?
I'm FHTV corporate branding with the mustard, mate. You know, you know why?
I was about to say.
Do you know why?
Colour
My right back's
coordinating with
mustard as well. My right back is mustard.
Gold and black. Me and you got the memo, didn't we?
Exactly.
We got that. So did Philly. I'm not sure what team wears that colour. Any team wear that colour that James? Yeovil?
I don't follow trends, mate. I create them.
Oh, all right. All right. Lime green putrid colour. All right, mate. By the way, just some breaking news. Spalletti looks like he's about to leave his job as the Italy head coach with immediate effect, according to Fabrizio Romano. Rayan Ait-Nouri has just signed a 5-year contract at Man City, 39 million quid. That is a deal and a half. That, for me, is a top deal for a team that needed a left-sided player. Fair play to City.
I think
it looks.
I just read it was 32 with add-ons.
Mate, even
Even
Archie
better,
Gray
yeah.
territory we're talking about there, James. Archie Gray revenue. Philly, how you feeling, mate? Ange just gone. We can move on from that now. We don't have to do the Ange in, Ange out game every single week. Thomas Frank is going. I feel pretty comfortable in saying is going to be our new manager at this stage. Where are you at with this, Philly? And how quickly do you think we're going to wrap this up? Because it seems like we're on a roll this week. Seems like we're getting shit done.
Mate, I am actually ecstatic. I can't lie. I'm glad that Andrew's gone. That's all I'm gonna say, mate. Goodbye, good riddance. Thank you for the trophy, but I want to see the first thing I want to see Frank do is to buy a 6. Buy someone like a Northgard or someone like that just to sit in the midfield, like our Scott McGinn, sit in the midfield and control the game and try. And I listened to the high performance just this morning, and I was listening to Thomas Frank's words on Christian Norgard, and you know what? I liked his words on him as a leader, as a captain, everything that actually Spurs need, and the way that Thomas Frank got the best out of Damsgaard. Because he was the player I was looking at after the Euros when Denmark went deep into the tournament, lost to England in the semi-finals. I always wanted him to come to Spurs. But now we've got Bergvall. I want to see what Thomas Frank could do to a player like Bergvall, what kind of information he can get and what kind of player we can actually look at in the future for Bergvall and for the likes of Archie Gray as well. So I'm happy on that.
How much better he can coach him, innit?
Yeah,
Phil,
and that's what we need, Dan.
We said earlier that Frank actually wanted Gray. He was the one that started off the whole thing and tried to sign him, and then we nipped in and got him instead. So
he
makes
also
more
wanted
sense.
Ben Davies, mate. So I don't know what we're doing here.
Well, I'd take Ben Davies over Emerson Royale, but we'll leave that one.
Oh, Jesus. Emerson Royale within minutes of Barry being on
wasn't
screen.
me that mentioned it either.
I know. Oh, hang on. Oh, my mate's back. I won't do a VAR. We've already had VAR on this guy. Frank out. He's not good enough, just like he was with Ange. Oh, pro shoot. You've already said this. Like, surely we can get new material, can't we? Tell you what, 10 words, try and cuss me, but say something a little bit more imaginative than this. Go. 10 words, swear all you like. I'm not going to block you. Go for it. See how creative you can be. Go. Oh, it's so funny. Now the narrative is because I like Frank as a coach. It's, well, Savva's not going to want him either. I love this. This is, they don't want me to be negative and toxic about Ange. When I'm positive about a manager, they want me to be negative and toxic. You can't.
Yeah, but I'm find us hypocritical. Not being disrespectful, yeah, but aren't these the same kind of fans here asking for more kids to come into the club?
Yeah, oh, of course they are. Of course.
So buy more kids here, but don't have a coach to coach them, and just leave them out there.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. By the way, somebody's just sent me this. Where are we? Somebody just sent me this. So Brian Reimer, a former member of Thomas Frank's coaching staff, has said this: Tottenham has always been my favourite club. At Brentford, we always joked that if we were going to move on from Brentford, it would be to Tottenham. It's a club that has had some challenges over the past season, and there's quite a bit of hard work ahead of them. But Thomas deserves this chance. He's done a fantastic job. So that's what one of the coaches who worked with Thomas Frank has said.
He's the Danish manager at the moment, I think.
Is it?
Oh.
I'm
Is that
also
Brian Ryman?
seeing it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everyone's twerking. Everyone's twerking for the job, mate.
But Nick,
I
let
mean-
me ask you. I've not spoken to you about this. Where are you with Frank? Because the word that keeps being labelled to him is underwhelming. I don't feel that way at all. I actually think this is everything when we remove emotion that Tottenham actually need. A good guy, a good communicator, a great coach, good tactician, works with the players, won't embarrass us, has worked his way up. Where are you with it?
So, I mean, look, I kind of, it's kind of been a bit of a with everything that's happened, right? So, didn't renew my season ticket. This just proved why I was 100% correct in not doing it, because of everything that happened. Levy kept Ange in the job until that renewal date was finished, so that everyone was on that high emotion. Oh, let me renew my season ticket because we European champions, Champions League, blah 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 blah. You know, so there was that. And then I was a bit like, when it came out as Frank, I was a bit, I don't know how to feel, because I was a bit numb from everything that had kind of happened and us being how we were being. And the more I start to see about, well, I mean, Levy will be getting his rocks off on this, his net spend and everything that he's done, and start doing some actual research rather than listening to people or tweets or whatever, going and doing some actual research. He's exactly what we need at this football club. I just feel that we just need to go and do it and get it done, right? So I get everything. I mean, I don't know, there's lots of talk about, you know, we were talking about last week about the takeover and all of this and all of that, and there's things in the pipeline, and Lee McQueen's confident and everyone else is confident and all of this is going on. But for once, can we just, like what Philly said, get it done, get these players, if the players don't want to play for him, get them gone. We have to be this ruthless. We have to be this ruthless, because otherwise we'll just be stumbling to the next thing, stumbling to the next thing, stumbling to the next thing. Am I excited? You know, I put that thing about Arsenal, PSG, and whoever else we play in the first 3 games. What are we doing on 3 games that he's going to have it? Let's not wait. We're going to have, when's the Arsenal game? Like 6 weeks away or what have you? I don't even know when it is. So he'll have enough time to start bedding the philosophies in. But let's not be judging a manager on 3 games. How quick are we to just go, oh, if we get beaten by PSG in the Super Cup, oh my God, Thomas Frank's terrible. We want better things, but we don't have the patience. We then have patience, and then we still don't want better things. I think as Spurs fans, you can't ever win, because there'll always be, like you said a minute ago, you can't praise a new manager because they're still hung up on the old one, right? He's gone. He's finished. He's gone. Thank you very much. You've delivered the trophy. But that last game, I cannot explain to you. I don't think I watched much of the game, that last game, that Brighton game. And when they scored that 4th goal and everyone starts waving their flags, that just told me everything. Like, what, as Perchie would say, what are we doing here? We're literally celebrating, getting absolutely our pants pulled down against Brighton, and we're celebrating. Like, it's the same as it brought us back to. It reminded me of that Chelsea game when it was 4-1 and everyone was clapping the players after that game. It was exactly the same. Like, no.
And the worrying thing,
Nick, reality, let's just say,
over the last 2 years, how many games have there been like this? Like this, these games are one-offs for big clubs. For us in the last 2 years, it feels like we're experiencing these sort of defeats, embarrassing performances every week. Now, sorry, just quickly, Faz Radfar in the chat. I've seen this stat fly around that if Tottenham had had their best 5 every game, Spurs statistically would have finished second. And the fact that grown men think that's how football works is utterly crazy. So you've now gone from we love Ange so much that we're going to try and force a stat that shows he would have finished second if that back five had been available every game. Okay, well, let's have a look. This season, that back five, when Van der Ven and Romero have played together in the league, 9 games, they've won 3, lost 5 and drawn 1. Why didn't we win all of those games then? Why didn't we win all of those games if it was just as simple as getting Van der Ven and Romero fit? It's so, guys, isn't this ridiculous? Like, just to go, oh, if that back five are played every game, suddenly we're finishing where Arsenal did. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but 2 of the main defenders missing for nearly 3 months was, as far as I'm concerned, down to Angie's fault.
Right.
Romero and Van der Ven were not match fit to both play in that game. They might.
Dan, what about a Dogie who had that massive surgery last summer or the end of last season, and instead of starting the season with Ben Davies or Jed Spence and giving him time to come back, played a Dogie, gone out injured.
No rotation and everything.
Exactly.
Half of it was his own fault. I mean, when you've got a game like Chelsea coming up that you know he's going to be physical and a rough game, and both your centre-backs haven't played a game for how long, because they was both injured for a little while anyway, go and starting them both at the same time was crazy, in my opinion.
Degusin was in form, by the way, when we did that. Degusin was actually playing decent when Spurs did that as well. So imagine his confidence. And that actually foreshadowed the one with Jed Spence. When he was dropped here, when he was playing well and replaced with Adoji as soon as Adoji was fit. So his confidence must have been dented as well. Because it doesn't matter how good you play, as long as them players are fit, you're not going to play.
Spence was our best player. Spence was our best player for what, 2 months, I'd say. Some say 3 months, 2 months. Okay, his games were coming down a little bit. But he'd been our shine on there, basically. And then the second Adogie was fit, he dropped him like that. And Adogie, it's not as though he'd been playing good all season, is it?
Look at this. Look, this is where we're at. Unfortunately, we've got fans like this, that because Thomas Frank has lost to Ange, it means he can't be any good. This is the same Ange that beat Pep Guardiola. So by this person's theory, Angepostecoglou should be the manager of Man City because Pep Guardiola is not very good. Guys, I know I should know by now because I've been on YouTube long enough. What goes through these people's heads to type this dumb shit? Like what makes them, what happens?
It's emotion, bro. It's emotion.
Okay,
They go on emotion.
Hang on. So should we get Ruud van Nistelrooy as manager at Tottenham because he beat Ange? Is that how it works? It's absolutely mad. These people it's crazy. Absolutely crazy, lads.
I mean, the other thing I can get, like we're saying now, if it's Frank that comes in, we're going to have to give him time that he needs to start getting everything together and sort of basically starting again, because that's what it is. And that's why a lot of people didn't want this to happen. I don't think anyone on here wanted that to happen, but we just finished 17th, for God's sake. If he would have even finished 10th, I think the majority of people would have said, all right, 10th, but you know what, you won the Europa Cup as well. We'll deal with that and see how it goes next season. He finished 17th, for God's sake. That's 1 place away from relegation. The only 3 below us got relegated. And the fact that he even stated clear as day, whether it was just what he had to say or felt like saying, or even whether he meant it or not, that he'd already blown the season out just to concentrate on the Europa Cup. What? How many games did he blow out then for the 3 games that he needed for the Europa Cup, basically?
Mad, isn't it?
Imagine saying, I'm trying to build a winning mentality and I want to win every game, and then saying 6 months later, I threw every game since Christmas because I wanted to win the cup. And then these people are backing that guy. It's just, honestly, I'm worried for them, because what are they seeing that I ain't seeing? Like, I'm genuinely, I don't get it. I really don't. For me, if Thomas Frank is the guy to come in, I cannot wait to see Udogie, Porro, and maybe even Solanke, Maddison. I can't wait to see those players again next year. I think they're almost going to be like new signings. It's going to be like, imagine Porro. Right, mate, yeah, do what you do best. You run down that wing, deliver those balls, overlap. Mate, I'm all here for that. Same with Udogie. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. And I think from what Frank has proved, it's another thing I keep saying, where when it comes to best player of the year, basically, and everything, it's always a striker or a midfielder. Very, very rarely is it ever been a goalkeeper or a defender. Midfielders and defenders, the defenders and goalkeepers, they don't get the same sort of credit as a striker because he scores goals, or a midfielder because he sets up the goals. He's managed to get Brentford into the Premier League and keep them there for the past, is it 4 years? That's due credit on its own. Fine, okay, he's not going to get the credit that others get for winning the league and everything else. But on an honest opinion, you go and stick Ange's manager of Brentford, they're going down.
Do you know what, Dan? This is something I wanted to talk about. It's so funny that we always look the other way and say, "Oh, can someone like a Thomas Frank step up, even though he's just finished 7 places above Ange Postecoglou?" But it's funny when we look the other way. Imagine Ange's tactics at a club like Brentford, who have a wage bill of £44 million per year. Imagine Ange's tactics at Wolves. Imagine Ange's tactics at insert club name. They would have all been relegated under Ange Postecoglou.
That's what I think. I personally think with his style of play, with a lot of those teams there, he'd have ended up getting them relegated. Because his style of play, we finished 17th. There you go. There's the answer. What more can you really say?
In the middle of the midfield. I'm sorry, when you're playing with 2 8s here, both of them push up. So there's a massive hole in the Spurs midfield, and because we don't have a 6 here, that's why it's like the scene out of the 10 Commandments, where both sides of the midfield just open up like it's water. Now, a friend of mine asked you a question, yeah, and he says, would you keep Peter Højbjerg now that Frank's involved? Personally, I'll just get rid of him, yeah, and look to bring in someone like a Norsgaard or someone like I think he said Frondrup is the name he gave me, yeah, someone like that. But you need to have that. Someone like that, yeah, that sits in front of the defense here, and it allows the creative players to get forward. But the way that we do it, yeah, right, we push up so many players. There's a massive hole that, and where Udogie and Porro invert, yeah, every team goes on the right hand, left hand side of us because the team basically splits apart, and that's the problem with Ange's system. Because there is no 6 in there, yeah, you can see there's a massive hole in the midfield.
We play 2 at the back, basically.
Yeah, and it's always 2 on 1 or 2 on 4.
Nick, does this picture make you happy? Look who's at left back.
I mean, it does make me happy, yeah, because he's
left back of a 7-man midfield.
Well, yeah. Well, no, yeah, exactly. Left back of 7. No, it doesn't make me happy. I mean, people in the chat like pro shoot again, mate. Like it's a downgrade, and people are going to leave. What makes you say this nonsense? Like, how are we literally going to be like, was everyone sitting there and saying, we everyone else was a downgrade on Ramos because he won the Worthington Cup or whatever it was called.
Nick,
what I mean? We're going to do this every year now. Like, this person's a downgrade on Ange because he hasn't won Europa League. Like, what?
You know, I'd say, oh no, what you mean? We're downgrading, we're getting rid of these players that just made us finish 17th.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. When you've got all the players that were coming out saying that they're not happy about the news and they're not happy about this. Well, you didn't show it on the pitch for the last 18 months that you weren't happy, did you? You didn't turn up. You didn't turn up and do all of this. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how hypocritical are these players when they sit there and they're like, we're so sorry, Ange's gone. Well, let me do a little Instagram, or let me send a little tweet out, and let me do this. Thank you for everything. Well, it's just laughable. Like, it's just because he's got no trophies. But that's the point. Ange's got a trophy. We're doing it on trophies. This is ridiculous, Andrew. Like, he has got Brentford. I remember going to watch Brentford against Wycombe Wanderers. That's how I remember Brentford when they were at their old stadium under the bridge. You walk between two houses and there's the stadium. I remember going to Brentford then. Now look at what Brentford are now. It's absolutely madness.
He didn't get promoted once either. A lot of people going, "Oh, he got us promoted. He didn't win the league." Like, to be honest, things have fallen so low. I'd love to have a nice guy back in at Tottenham. That for me is a start in the right direction.
Yeah,
Somebody that I can actually kind of get behind and back a little bit. I thought Ange was so arrogant and horrible and nasty. I would just like to have somebody that's actually half decent, just a nice fellow there.
We're getting Frank in. To me, I see similarities to Poch of what Poch was able to do at Southampton. And then Poch came up a level to us, and look what he done. We don't know how Frank's going to play it, what he's going to do, this and that. I'm looking forward to next season already. I personally think he's got the capability to go up to the next level, basically.
I agree.
Whether he does or don't, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But I think he can.
I think the trouble is, and this is what we do as Spurs fans, forget it. It's done. He's gone. Like we were doing the same with Jose. We're doing the same with Conte. He's gone. The manager is the manager now. So if we're talking about forgetting the past, forgetting everything else, fine. Let's all do it. And then if Frank is the manager and it's announced, then we'll back him like that. And I'm not trying to like make comparisons into what, things that have happened and everything else. But we cannot keep going back in history and going, wow, Bergenshaw did all right. Yeah. Poch did all right. Didn't win anything, but we're still twerking for Poch. All these things that we just need to do is just Frank hasn't had the opportunity. He hasn't had the money. He hasn't had the funds. He hasn't had the infrastructure. So surely all those people that are saying that should be thinking, Christ, what's he done at Brentford? Jesus, on that budget, with those players, with all of this, actually, given all of those tools, he might actually be good. He might actually do what we want him to do. But instead, all these people in the chat that are saying it, has someone never given you a go? Has someone never said, I'm going to give you that chance? Where was
Eddie Howe?
Where
was Eddie Howe? Where were all these managers here? These up and coming managers? They all started from somewhere. Where was Eddie Howe?
We've all started from somewhere as well. We've all had jobs where someone's given us a chance, right? We haven't just gone and done what we've done. We've all been given opportunities, and we've either taken it or we've not taken it. Then that's
Nick. What I would say is ask those people if they would take Xabi Alonso as coach. That's what I would ask, because that guy's done 2 years in management. Would they take Xavi, the other Xavi as coach? Well, he's had one proper job. So does that mean no to those guys? It's just sometimes, like you said, you've got to be able to adapt, and there's either he's going to sink or swim. So at the moment we're sinking. Yeah, we won a trophy, but we were sinking. Let's see what happens. In my opinion, give the guy a break. You can't. If you start off on the wrong foot, it's going to end on the wrong foot.
I mean, Peter. Just when we say expectations at Tottenham are high, I've just had an army of this fan base saying that they're happy with 17th and a trophy. So our expectations high? I genuinely don't think they are. I get it, right? If Man City fans were sitting here having this conversation about Thomas Frank, cool. We're Tottenham. We've won one trophy in 17 years, and now everyone think, expectations are high. Yeah, and the same, I'm not going to go at you, Peter, by the way, but on the other hand, if I say, tell you what, fifth next season will be a great season after what we've done. Oh, you're happy with fifth and not a trophy. You can't win, guys. There should be no either or. Yeah?
Yeah.
Always try and finish as high up the table as you can. Try and go deep into the cups as much as you can. But this manager isn't in the Europa League this year. We can't judge him against Ange. He's not got an easy route to a final like Ange has had. People think that's me belittling. I'm not. But it was factually a nice run to have. The Champions League is not going to be that. To qualify out of those Champions League, out of that league table, the 8 games you play, you are not going to play Alkmaar's, Elfsborg's every week. You might get one of them. You're someone like that to slip through the net. But we've got to stop doing this. Oh, we're a massive upgrade. We've just finished 17th in the league. At the moment, this is a downgrade for him. At the moment, this is a downgrade for him. People going, oh, mid-table Frank. Sorry, mid-table Frank while you're celebrating finishing 17th and 22 defeats. Mid-table would be a bloody miracle at this stage with what we've got.
Yeah, have you watched Martin Allen? Martin Allen on Talk Sport. He actually said Thomas Frank here was actually too good to go to Spurs. And you know what? Frankly, I actually agree with him, you know. This man could have loads of other top jobs coming along his way, yeah, but he's chosen Tottenham Hotspurs. And fair play to Thomas Frank for saying, you know what, I want to go to Tottenham Hotspurs. Because he's going to come into this club, yeah, right? We're in the middle of trying, in a lot of how do you say the word? There's a lot of mystery going on right now, yeah, of what's happening in this club, right? And he's taken the chance to come to Spurs here and actually want to come and teach and train these young up and coming players that the club have bought. So I'm going to give him his fair dues. I'm just going to let the season run out and see what happens. But you know what? As long as he doesn't come 17th, as long as he comes above 17th, he's done a better job for me than Ange. As long as he can organise the defence so that we're not conceding and make it difficult to beat, he's better than Ange for me. As long as he can double multiple competitions and not have to throw one away because you're not good enough because you can't manage the season properly, you're better than Ange for me.
Well, look, James, you've got to bounce, haven't you, mate? So I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having us, mate.
So from forevermore now, I only want you on stream if you're going to wear that T-shirt. I think that's fabulous. I like it.
Yeah, no worries.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
You're right, Savva. You're right though. What you're saying about this, you're right. It's, if we were Man City, then we can sit there. But how many times have we had conversations like over this player? Oh no, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take Semenyo. I wouldn't take Wharton. I wouldn't take all these players that we've been talking about. Oh yeah, they're there and they're this and they're that. And then you're sitting there going, well, they're better than what we've got. We have this arrogance to think that we're like, because we've won a trophy now, I think everyone thinks that we're going to continue to win trophies. We've won one in 17 years. So when's the next one coming? I'll probably say in about 17 years, maybe. You know, if it comes before then, brilliant. But I'm not pinning my house on it or pinning my hat on it. So,
yeah, it's well, Reezy, this is the guy you've loved all year. If you're telling me 17th is acceptable, then yes, get higher up the league table should be the metric. You've said all year, league doesn't matter. So next year, when Thomas Frank loses a game, I don't want to see you complaining. I don't want to see any of the Anjin fans, the moment Frank loses a game, saying, can't believe he lost that, his tactics. No. You told us the league doesn't matter, right, Dan? The league doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah, for me, the 2 games before we had the final, they was irrelevant. I had the debate with you and a lot of others, people saying every game matters, every game's relevant, this and that. I totally understand that side as well. But for me, what was it, against Villa and Palace, those 2 games were irrelevant because it had only helped us finish 15th instead of 17th. We needed that Europa Cup more than anything to get that Champions League and everything. But when it's January and you're basically your main focus. Now, I'm not saying he went into the rest of the season like didn't care about winning or losing or whatever in the league, but he's even admitted it, and it all does make sense that the priority was the Europa Cup, come love nor money. I mean, look at some of the games he did play when Europa Cup games were coming up. And that's what he focused on purely. And surely Tottenham is a bigger club that can do more than just focus on one cup, even with the amount of injuries we had.
Agreed. Can I show you something which has just been sent to me, which is really funny? Someone's just sent this to me. Look, said, Ange will forever be a legend for delivering a European glory. On reflection, what I'll miss the most is when we lost the ball on the edge of the opposition box and they were able to run 60 yards with no midfield around to the edge of our box and then score. Great times. And this is what I mean. Whenever I have tried, you cheeky little git, go away. Trying to eat my food. Sorry, Stanley being a puppy. This is what I mean, guys. No Anjin fan has ever been able to tell me why he doesn't change that, why he doesn't adapt that. So listen, I'm going to draw a line under this. He's gone. He's gone. If these Anjin fans want to keep now going to base everything against Ange, fine. But guys, we're not in the Europa League. This manager doesn't have the safety net of the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
So this manager, to win a trophy, he's got to win the Champions League. Not happening. I hate to break it to anyone. Or the League and FA Cup, where when you look at the teams that Palace and Newcastle had to beat this year to win their trophies, they beat top teams.
Newcastle had to do, what was it? Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool.
Arsenal twice, Liverpool, and was it Everton or Fulham or someone?
I can't, but that's not easy. Look, basically, the cup is won. We're all happy with it. All over the moon, happy as a pig in shit that we won the cup and everything. But again, for me, 3-4 days later, I was already looking ahead of the future of like, right, so what are we now going to do? We've won the cup. It's done and dusted. Ange was here. He's gone. It's done and dusted. What are the people actually supporting? Do they support Ange or do they support Tottenham?
That's a good question.
At the moment, it feels like they don't support Tottenham. I mean, like, let's be fair. I call him out. Ben, who came on my show last night. Fair play for coming on and doing the Ange conversation. But imagine that you're a Spurs fan and you've sat there and said, I am Frank out from the day he's appointed.
Yeah.
Right? You are not a fan. You are not a fan of the club. If you listen, it's the same. If Gareth Southgate was appointed, I can be as upset as I want about it. I'm not going to go Southgate out from day one.
No.
You have to give him a chance.
It's like certain players. There's always certain players that people like, people don't like. But if he's playing for Tottenham, I want him to do the best he can. Timo Werner, did I rate him as a player? Do I rate him as a player? Did I ever? No. But would I have been happy if he scores 20 goals for Tottenham? Of course I am, because he's playing for Tottenham. I don't care what they're getting up to afterwards and whatever. As all I care is what they're doing on the pitch. So it's Tottenham I support. Not Ange, not Werner, not Kane when he was here, not Son, Romero, whatever. I support Tottenham and I just want Tottenham to win.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go a bit further than what Savva said earlier, about the players that they want to leave because Ange wants to leave. They can all feel free to join the same plane as Ange Postecoglou on the way out of it. All of you are available to me because you know what? None of you are what I say are ground movers. Yeah, if you want to leave. If you want to leave because Ange is gone, feel free. Because this Tottenham need a brand new start. But we've already got a core group of kids already there that you can actually build off. All you need to add is a few more players to that list, right? And you can actually see the formation of a team. So if people like Romero want to say, you know what, I want to leave because Andrew's going, feel free to go on the same plane as Ange. Get out of here.
Here's another example for you then. I don't think any of us.
Sorry, go.
I don't think any of us rate Brian Johnson very much, do we? And he's a player that I really wouldn't miss if he went. But I was really happy for him and happy for Spurs that he scored 17, 18 goals for us and scored in the final.
Yeah,
so,
look, can I say this? I think the key thing for me, Philly, is if any... By the way, this is all conjecture about the players, right? So we can only go by what we've seen. Like we've seen Sonny come out. I mean, look, let me rip Sonny's statement apart. And this will upset people because they love Son and they love Ange. Let's rip his statement apart, right? Sonny has said, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. You've changed the trajectory of this club. Yeah, he has. Downwards to 17th. You believed in yourself and us since day one, never wavered for a second. You knew what we were capable of all along. Yeah, 22 defeats in the league. You did it your way. Well, no, you didn't do it your way. That's not how you won this trophy. You did not do it your way. And your way brought back the club the best night it's had in decades. No, it wasn't his way. It was 10 men behind the ball. One of the greatest honors of my career. It's been an incredible privilege to learn from your leadership. I'm a better player and a better person because of you. Not the son that I'm watching is not a better player in any way, shape or form. It
No.
wasn't done his way. So all of these lovely messages that these players can come out with now is great. But to your point, Philly, if any player wants to leave because a manager that's just had our worst ever Premier League season leaves, that tells me, one, about their mentality, two, that they weren't held accountable for anything. Of course they want to play for him, Philly. Imagine I worked for you. Imagine we worked in a car dealership. I always use this. You're my boss, and I haven't sold a car for 22 games, 22 weeks, whatever. You'll go, don't worry, Sav, it's all right. Don't worry, Sav. I'm telling everyone, my boss, Philly, he's the best. Yeah, because he's not sacked you or held you accountable, Savva, for not hitting your targets. So
I agree. And Savva, that also yeah, but Savva, that also goes into the point of Sean Butler as well, with the buck stops at the top. Because that means I'm taking all accountability from you as a person now. Because you're working for me, that means that that I'm taking the rap for your lack of sales. So I'm taking all the rap for it, and you get none of the criticism, Savva.
Mate, for sure, for sure. Listen, I feel like, it's easy to have opinions, and we've all got opinions. But I don't think that people apply their own logic to their second, third, and fourth argument, if that makes sense. If you're going to judge this person here by that, why is that person being judged by that? It's utterly madness. Look, guys, I do need to wrap up, by the way. I do. I only wanted to go for an hour today. I've done 2. We've got the Spurs review tonight at 7:30. Got a really good panel for everyone tonight with some very different characters. Before we go, AJ has said one of Frank's biggest attributes is making players better. Yes. Another is understanding the opposition and setting up accordingly. Yes, absolutely. 2 qualities that you find in a coach, not a manager. Big up to you, AJ. Can't agree with you more. The Aussie Ange hater, big up to you. Channel member has said the Ange out fans are classed as negative. Now those fans that are Ange in are negative about Frank. How ironic. Interesting.
Contradict.
But what I will say is I do think a lot of them are just hurting at the moment. And I think when the dust settles down, I think the majority of the sensible ones will jump on board. But at the moment, it's just that they're hurt because this was the guy they wanted to die on their hill for. Big up to you, Aussie Ange hater. James Watts has said, would you take Miguel Sanchez from Girona? Can't say I know too much. I've probably seen him in passing, but I wouldn't want to sit here and Anybody seen enough to say that
he's not a bad manager? Is that the manager? He's not a bad manager. If that's Miguel, he's not a bad manager.
Is that? Hang on, let's have a look. I don't really know who this is, because isn't their manager Miguel?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Hang on, Miguel Sanchez. Are you sure that's the right name? I don't know this name. Miguel Sanchez.
It's the manager of Girona. But I looked at him beforehand because he got to join to the Champions League. He got to join to the Champions League, didn't he?
All right, okay. So I only know him as Mikel. Sorry, I would take Mikel. Yes, I think Mikel's done a wonderful job. Good coach, gets his teams playing. Yeah, I would absolutely take Mikel. Sorry, James, you've gone with his full name. I just know him as Mikel. Sorry, big up to you. Yes, I would is my answer to that. But he's nowhere to be seen on the list of names. Marlon said, have VDV and Romero posted an Ange message yet? Not yet. I do feel a lot of these messages are very disingenuous. James Maddison, the guy that he keeps subbing, dropping. James Maddison, who complained about him on the sideline, then suddenly talking about him as being a family man. You've taught me more than I know. And I'm sorry, mate. I don't think he got the best out of you at all. But big up, Marlon. Thank you very much. Philly, thank you very much. Dan, thank you very much. Guys and girls, we'll be back at 7:30 for the Spurs review. Join us then. We've got a great panel. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.